I woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. I know the time because my digital clock flickered the numbers in a pale blue glow, the only light in the room besides the moon bleeding through the curtains. At first, I thought the strange pressure in the air was just another nightmare. I'd been working late shifts at the observatory for weeks, cataloging deep space anomalies and analyzing signals no one else believed were real. But then I saw her. She was standing near my bedroom window, perfectly still, watching me. My heart slammed into my ribs so hard I thought I might black out. She wasn't human. That was my first thought, not because she looked monstrous, but because she looked precise. Too symmetrical. Too balanced. Too luminous. Her skin shimmered faintly like moonlit glass, pale with a subtle iridescent undertone. Her hair, if it was hair, cascaded in silver strands that reflected light even when none should have touched them. And her eyes were impossibly deep, reflecting colors that didn't belong to Earth's spectrum. She tilted her head slightly. "You are awake," she said. Her voice wasn't loud. It was layered, almost harmonic, as if two tones existed within the same word. I didn't scream. I didn't move. My brain had shut down every panic response and replaced it with disbelief. "Who are you?" I managed. She stepped closer. Not threatening, just deliberate. "I am called Lyra," she said. "And I have come because you are necessary." Necessary. That word chilled me more than her appearance. The first explanation. Lyra didn't break into my house. The doors were still locked. The windows sealed. There were no signs of forced entry. Later, I would learn she hadn't entered physically in the way we understood it. But in that moment, she simply stood there in my bedroom as if she had always belonged. "You are afraid," she observed calmly. "Yes," I whispered. "That is acceptable. I will reduce your fear." Before I could react, the air seemed to vibrate softly. A warmth spread through my chest, easing the crushing panic. Not mind control, not sedation. It felt more like emotional recalibration. "I am not here to harm you," she continued. "My mission requires your cooperation, not your destruction." "That's comforting," I muttered weakly. She studied me carefully, her gaze analytical but not cold. "You search the stars," she said. "You listen for signals others dismiss." My stomach tightened. The observatory. The late-night anomaly. "You've been watching me?" "Yes." I swallowed. "Why?" She paused as if selecting words from a language she had only partially mastered. "Because you already suspect the truth. That makes you suitable." Her mission. Lyra explained that her species did not conquer planets. They didn't invade or colonize. They observed civilizations at pivotal moments, points where evolution could branch toward extinction or transcendence. Earth was approaching such a moment. "That's dramatic," I said, sitting up in bed, adrenaline returning. "It is accurate," she replied. Her people had detected something humans hadn't fully understood yet, a cosmic anomaly moving through our sector. Not a meteor, not a comet. Something more subtle and infinitely more dangerous, an energy wave capable of disrupting planetary magnetic fields. It wouldn't destroy Earth instantly. It would destabilize it slowly. Communication grids would fail. Satellites would burn out. Atmospheric patterns would shift unpredictably. Civilization would fracture. "You sound very certain," I said. "We have observed this phenomenon before. And 3 civilizations failed to adapt in time." That silence stretched between us like an abyss. "So, what does this have to do with me?" I asked. Her eyes softened slightly. "You are part of the solution." "Why me?" Lyra moved closer to my desk, her fingers brushing over my scattered research notes. She didn't need to touch them to understand them. I could tell that much. You detected the anomaly weeks ago, she said. Your superiors dismissed it. They called it interference. It is not interference. I stared at her. So, you want me to convince the world that a cosmic wave is coming? Yes. I laughed, half hysteria, half disbelief. They barely listened to me about minor solar flares. You will not act alone. That statement carried weight. Her species could not interfere directly. Some kind of non-intervention principle bound them, but they could guide. You are the catalyst, she said. You have already begun the inquiry. If guided correctly, you will complete it. And if I say no? Her gaze locked with mine. You will not. The certainty in her voice was unsettling, not threatening, just confident. You care for your planet, she added softly. Your emotional responses confirm this. She wasn't wrong. The reveal. The next few days were a blur. Lyra remained in my house, though she didn't sleep. She didn't eat. She seemed to exist in a state of constant awareness. I had to sneak her past neighbors when I left for work, though sometimes she simply vanished and reappeared later. You phase? I asked once. A simplified term, she replied. At the observatory, she guided my calculations. Tiny adjustments, different filtering algorithms, signal amplification at specific frequencies. And then we saw it clearly. The anomaly. Not random interference. A coherent wave pattern moving steadily toward our system. I presented the data again. This time, it couldn't be dismissed. The room fell silent as my colleagues realized what they were looking at. Within hours, agencies were contacted. Within days, governments quietly initiated contingency meetings. It was happening faster than I expected. You accelerated the timeline, Lyra said that night. I just showed them what was already there. Yes, that is what catalysts do. The unexpected truth. As the world scrambled to understand the threat, I began to understand her. Lyra wasn't just an observer. She was young, not in appearance but in experience. This is your first solo mission, I guessed one evening. She hesitated. Yes. Why assign someone inexperienced to something this important? She turned toward the window, watching city lights flicker below. Because this mission requires emotional assessment. My species believes I possess the regular empathy. I blinked. Irregular. I experience attachment more strongly than others. That explains something I hadn't been able to name. The way she watched me not just as a subject, but as a person. You're not just studying humanity, I said quietly. You're trying to understand it. Yes. And me. She met my gaze. You are central to my understanding. My pulse quickened. That wasn't part of the mission, was it? No. The turning point. The anomaly accelerated. Global leaders debated evacuation strategies for satellites. Engineers rushed to design shielding protocols. But there wasn't enough time to fully harden the planet's infrastructure. That's when Lyra made a decision. There is another option, she said. I looked up from my computer. I don't like the sound of that. My species possesses technology capable of stabilizing Earth's magnetic field during the wave's passage. Then use it. We are forbidden from direct planetary intervention. I stared at her. Forbidden by who? By ourselves. Of course. Civilizations that intervene too often create dependency. Evolution stagnates. So, what's the loophole? I asked. Her eyes shimmered faintly. A human must initiate the request. That's it. It must be unanimous. My heart sank. You want the entire planet to agree on something? Yes. That's impossible. Is it? She wasn't being sarcastic. She genuinely believed in humanity's capacity for unity. That belief terrified me more than the cosmic wave. The broadcast, with government cooperation and a significant amount of resistance, we arranged something unprecedented, a global broadcast. The anomaly had become visible to enough scientific communities that denial was no longer viable. The public demanded answers. And for the first time in history, the truth was presented plainly. We are not alone. An advanced extraterrestrial civilization exists. They can help, but only if we ask together. Lyra stood beside me off camera as I addressed the world. My hands trembled. This isn't about surrender, I said into the lens. It's about collaboration. We either face this divided, or we evolve together. There was backlash. There was fear. There were conspiracy theories and outrage. But there was also something else. Hope. The moment of decision. The vote wasn't political. It wasn't controlled by governments alone. Digital systems worldwide allowed individuals to register their consent. For 72 hours, the world debated. Lyra watched silently. Are you afraid? I asked her. Yes. Of extinction? She shook her head faintly. Of disappointment. When the final count locked in, I held my breath. Global consensus. 82%. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. Lyra exhaled, her first visible display of relief. It is done, she whispered. The intervention. The sky changed that night. Not dramatically. Not with fleets of ships or beams of light. Just a subtle aurora stretching across every continent simultaneously. Her species had responded. Invisible stabilizers locked into Earth's magnetic field like gentle hands steadying a trembling sphere. When the anomaly passed days later, satellites flickered, but did not fall. Power grids strained, but did not collapse. Humanity endured. And we knew why. The goodbye. A week later, Lyra stood once more in my bedroom. The same place I had first seen her. My mission is complete, she said softly. So that's it? Yes. I felt something tighten painfully in my chest. You're just going to leave? Yes. I stepped closer. You changed everything. So did you. Silence hung between us, thick and unspoken. You weren't just here for Earth, I said quietly. You were here for yourself. She didn't deny it. I have learned that connection strengthens decision-making, she said. Attachment is not weakness. I smiled faintly. Told you humans were useful. Her eyes glowed gently. You are more than useful. For a moment, I thought she might say more. Instead, she stepped forward and pressed her hand lightly against my chest. Warmth spread through me, not calming this time, but illuminating. A memory imprint. A resonance. So you won't forget, she said. As if I could. Her form shimmered. And then she was gone. Epilogue. The world didn't go back to normal. It couldn't. We had faced extinction and chosen unity. Space agencies formed joint planetary defense programs. Nations collaborated more openly than ever before. It wasn't perfect. Humanity still argued, still faltered. But something fundamental had shifted. As for me, I returned to the observatory. Every night, I scanned the skies. Not for danger, but for her. Sometimes, when the auroras flare unexpectedly, I wonder if she's watching. And I remember the alien girl who stood in my bedroom with a mission I never expected. She came to save a planet. But in doing so, she also proved something far greater. That humanity's greatest strength isn't technology. It's the ability to choose connection together. And somewhere beyond the stars, I know she carries that truth with her.